Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and another viewer request. Now, for those wondering, I'm probably going to upload like 3 or 4 of these tonight, like Beetlejuice, Blood and Bone, Trancers, Big Trouble in Little China, for a few people who had asked me those. But Springwood Elm Street had wanted me to review Trancers, and that's fine with me. I got the box set. Um, there were 6 Trancer films, and I do have the 6th one on VHS, and that's a vile piece of shit. Maybe I'll talk about the rest of the Trancer films one day, not anytime soon, because I'm doing this month in October I'll be very busy. November I might be really busy too now, but maybe one day. But just real quickly, this is the box set of the Trancer films, and you have kind of lazy fucking shit. I mean, look at this. All these look the same, except Trancers 5, Trancers 3. Like, how lazy is that shit? I mean, you have to look at the back. Like, here's Trancers 5, which I don't know what the fuck that cover is about. Yeah, Trancers 4, Jack of Swords. Which I admit, I like all 5 of these Trancer films. Trancers 3, Deth Lives. Trancers 2, The Return of Deth. And then the first one basically had the same as this. And for those wondering, there's no bonus features. The image quality is not the best. I mean, they've been criticized for that, but it's Full Moon Entertainment. And that's the thing. Like, it's a Transit box set. I got this to have the films on DVD. Again, I got 6 for very cheap, thankfully, on VHS, and that does not have Tim Thomerson in it. It's that bullshit footage they stole from these films. So it's a shitty film. But anyway, Trancers. I'm a fan of these films, the first 5 films. And this does deserve a good DVD, like, with features, because it's a film that people remember, Trancers. It's probably one of the more well-known, along with Puppet Master. Yeah, well, along with Puppet Master, probably the most famous of the Full Moon films. I mean, if they made 5, well, 6, but fuck that movie. In my opinion, 5 movies, then, it got popular somehow, you know. But Trancers, this came out in 1985, and I'm sure maybe Blade Runner and some other film. By the way, he never looks like this, Tim Thomerson. He never has his gear on. So I don't know where the fuck this comes from. This helmet shit. He never wears that shit in it. But, long story short, you have Deth, which, yes, that's his character's name, Deth, which I love. D-E-T-H. And he's a Trancer hunter. It's in the future, and you have an opening where he's in a cafe. He thinks one guy's a Trancer, and basically Trancers, you have this guy named Whistler. No, not Chris Christopherson Blade. But this guy Whistler, he kind of has this sort of, pushes this psychic power onto people, try to make them into his mindless slaves. So you're not really alive, but you're not really dead. And if you bend to his will, if you have a weak mind, and when you get killed, you'll like phase out, disappear, phase out. You'll be dead, but you'll basically evaporate. He thinks it's this one guy, but it's turns out to be this older black woman who's sort of the waitress. Gets in a fight with her and is able to kill her. And one thing I gotta say I really enjoy about this is the score. I really enjoy the score by, I want to get the guy's name. What? Phil Davies and Mark Ryder. I like the score. Yo, ba 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 da ba 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 da 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 ba 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 da ba ba ba. I'm doing a horrible job with it, I know. But he gets in trouble with his boss, Art LaFleur, who was the dad in the Blob remake, 1988. Shawnee Smith's dad. Art LaFleur, you've seen in a bunch of films. Cobra, sort of the one of the bosses for Cobra, for Stallone and Cobra, I should say. Great character actor. I always enjoy him. And basically, he's like, well, it's not your job to freelance. You're supposed to do your job. He quits. Tim Thomerson, you basically find out that his wife, woman he loved, was killed by a trancer. So he's kind of on his mission. And he's now retiring. And it takes place in the future where I guess there's this big earthquake. So most of, uh, it was San Francisco, wasn't it? Or L.A. L.A. Why do I think San Francisco? Because I just watched Big Trouble in Little China, so San Francisco's still in my mind. It's L.A., right? It's L.A. Fuck, now I'm confused. Yeah, L.A. It's underwater now, and he's swimming, collecting stuff, and Arla Fleur comes saying Whistler's actually alive. They thought he was dead, but he's alive. And basically, the guy has gone down the line, as they say. He's gone back in time to 1985 because he wants to kill the ancestors of this group, the city council. This is the group that holds the power of the place. And basically, if they die, then there'll be chaos and stuff. And they want Deth to go down the line and protect the ancestors and stop this Whistler guy. Which kind of reminded me of Quantum Leap, where your body's here, but your mind sort of jumps into a body. I don't know, it kind of reminded me a little bit of what Quantum Leap would be. But it can only be in your ancestor. So Deth goes back to an ancestor of his, who's this photographer guy. I do like the one moment before he goes, like they found that Whistler guy's body. They want Deth to bring the guy back for trial, but Deth says, yeah, basically fuck that, zaps the body. So when he does, the guy's gonna go back to nothing, be in deep shit. But I like that. And I like the Tim Thomerson's role. I mean, I know Tim Thomerson. I'm a big fan of this guy. I know he used to be a comedian actually. He's done bit roles and stuff like Uncommon Valor, Doll Man. He starred in Doll Man. I love Doll Man. I love Doll Man. I love these films. Doll Man, he's more like kind of like trying to do Eastwood, Clint Eastwood type of stuff. While here, he definitely has a little bit more emotional range. Like I still love Doll Man, Brick Bartle, but in Trancer films, what's different between them is that this one he kind of has a little bit more of a smile at times. Which makes sense because when he goes back into his ancestor's body, he's hooked up with Helen Hunt. And I think she was in the first 3 films. Was she in part 3? I think she was in yep, she is in part 3. It's been a while. And yeah, Helen Hunt, before she got, even though I don't know what the hell she's done for like the past 5 or so years, but I know she was in that Soul Surfer movie. But I like Helen Hunt. I'm a fan. I really liked her in films like Twister, among others. As good as it gets. But I liked her in this. It was spunky. She wasn't... I don't know. I liked her vibe. I liked her... I didn't mind her at all. And he goes back and he's like going to shave and he wipes off and Helen Hunt's sensing this weird behavior. He doesn't know what's going on. Like, he knows what's going on, but he's like trying to get used to it. Grabs his coat, kind of like a coat like you would see in the 30s, like sort of like Humphrey Bogart type of coat, and slicks his hair back. And she's like, what are you doing? It's like, dry hair is for squids. Like, that's his vocabulary in the future. If someone's a has-been or a punk or a loser or something, he calls him a squid. And I like Tim Thomerson's character. Like earlier, Arthur LaFleur's like, oh, the council needs you. And he goes, fuck them, and leaves. I really like Tim Towers in this film, and I liked Helen Hunt. That's good reason why I enjoy this flick. And it's a low budget film, so it's not. It has action, but nowhere like not even like PM Entertainment action. You don't have a lot of car chases or gunfights or explosions. You really don't. So if you go into it like that, you may be disappointed. Like Icon of Peace has miles more better action than Trancers. Really, any of them. Like these are full moon films, so they you don't really have a lot of action in it. But I'm entertained by the film because basically the idea is that Tim Thomerson is in following Helen Hunt. It takes place around Christmas time, and Helen sort of works as kind of photographer for Santa who has kids sit on his lap. And Tim Thomerson's trying to explain, but the guy who's Santa, he's a Tracer, and it has Deth. And you have fight scenes. I mean, the fight scenes aren't great, to be honest. Kind of slow, like, granted. But I didn't mind it for some reason. He's able to shoot the guy. And yeah, like the little kid's like, Mommy, that guy shot Santa. I don't know why it made me laugh, but maybe in a sadistic way. But at least the kid wasn't crying his eyes like, Mommy, that guy shot Santa. This is the way the kid said it made me laugh. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just sick, demented. But Helen doesn't know what the fuck's going on. But then, like, Tim Townsend trying to explain, he wants to know, he has, like, a photograph of one of the ancestors he's supposed to protect. Leads in this tanning salon. But he gets there too late, and the guy has already been tranced. And boom, 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 he's taken in and trapped in this, like, tanning booth. And he's trying to get out, And Helen Hunt left, but then came back because she knows something's not right with what happened back then, and finds the ancestor guy who had trapped Deth. He had been made to shoot himself, and she sees the body disappears. Like, what the hell? They did Deth out. They escape and listen to one of the cool things I like, the long second, which Deth gets this watch. When he presses it, a second kind of turns into 10 seconds, meaning kind of like the first bullet time, really. Even before Matrix, before Blade, maybe even before Remo Williams. I mean, this is like the first bullet time because he presses it and everything slows down and he grabs Helen Hunt and he actually sees a bullet like go slowly right by Helen Hunt and takes her and gets out. So I'm like, oh shit, it's the first bullet time, really. I like the idea of the long second. I wish I... Don't you wish you had one of those watches? Dude, you know, you wish. That'd be awesome. But he's able to escape. And yeah, them getting to know each other, hiding out at this place. And he sort of, figuring out this time period, like food, TV, what that music is. And like, it's the 80s, so you have like punk rock singing some version of Jingle Bells. And gets in a fight with some punks, which is pretty fun. It's like, yeah, I'm going to sweep the floor with your head. I thought that was pretty funny. And he gets spit on, and he's like, now you piss me off, and beats the shit out of the guy. Actually, his quote is, now I'm pissed. And then beats the fuck out of the guy, which I thought was really funny, very entertaining. um, then finds out that the last ancestor he needs to find is some guy who used to be a baseball player, but now a bum. From trying to avoid the cops and stuff, they grab the guy, they escape on motorcycles, and they tell the guy, you need to believe me. You may think you're nothing now, but you don't mean something in the future. Gets him washed up. And then their final play in the film, because this is a very short film. It's like less than 80 minutes. Less than 80 minutes. So it goes by quick. He pretends like he's going to give the guy up. It's order to get the main bad guy there. And he's able to have gotten another watch, so he uses the long second when the bad guy pushes Helen Hunt off the roof, saves her, And then the bum guy gets his moment of glory and he's throwing like baseballs and whatever at the bad guy, making him fall down. And Jack Death's about to get him, but then there's two vials, one's broken, so only one person can go back. And he can't just kill the guy because the ancestor's a good guy. The ancestors got put into a cop. Well, I mean, that Whistler got put in his ancestor who was a cop, a good guy who has kids, other kids. So he puts the injection on that guy, so Whistler's sent off to basically oblivion, and the cop, the ancestor's able to be fine again. And Jeff Deth stays and says, I don't like you, and of course he's going to be with Helen Hunt. He's going to be fine. And you have sort of a little bit funny business throughout where Art LaFleur had to go back and the only ancestor he could find was the kid, which is, I don't get, because they even said she had to go by the parents. So my question is, why didn't he jump into the parents? Art LaFleur's character. Like, they sent him back, and they could only send him back into the kid. Which, again, I'm thinking, why are you sending to either the mom or dad? Or, hell, the dad? Why don't you do that? I don't know why, but either way, you have some fun moments where you have this kid trying to talk like an adult. This is, Darius Graham. And then he's about ready to make it with Helen Hunt, and then he gets brought back to the future, for a small amount of time. He's like, couldn't you wait for an hour? About to get it on, He didn't say that, but, And when he convinces him to stay on the case, he's like, I don't care if you're a kid or an old person. I'm going to kick your ass if I see you again. So, I think that's why I enjoyed it. I enjoy the ideas of the film. It's a low-budget film, but it looks like they're actually trying. I like the idea of the Trancers. Cool name, too, Trancers. I enjoy the score. Big fan of Tim Thomerson. I think that's why him starring in these films made the whole difference to me. If he didn't star in these films, I probably wouldn't like him as much. But him starring in these films is the main reason why I enjoy these flicks, the first five. Uh, but I really enjoyed Helen Hunt. I liked her as an actress. I like the score. I like the ideas, like the long second. It's very quick. Again, it's under 80 minutes. This says right here, it's not going to say, is it, you son bitch? No, of course not. Like, an hour and 19, hour and 18 minutes, and that's without, with credits. So even without credits, it's like, say, at least an hour and 19, hour and 15 minutes. So again, it goes by very quick. And I found it entertaining. It is low budget. The action scenes, definitely not plentiful. Even with low budget films, like, I saw Blood and Bone, I saw the PM Entertainment films, leaves a lot to be desired in the action front in a lot of these movies, to be honest. Definitely don't go into this film thinking it's going to be like Nemesis, like Olivier Gruner's Nemesis, which I love Nemesis. I did a review of that on my channel. Don't go in expecting action like that. You'll be very, very disappointed. But if you want to see who Tim Thomerson is, definitely check him out. You want to see Helen Hunt in an early role, doing a good job. Quick movie. Again, hour and 15 or so minutes. And a good sci-fi flick, Nice ideas like the lawn secting and the train scene. And I think it's worth a look. If you don't like it, that's cool. It's understandable, but the action scenes aren't really great at all. And definitely not that much of action scenes, but with that said, I still enjoy it. Mainly for Tim Thomerson and Helen Hunt and some of the ideas they throw in there. By the way, that's Trancers, and that was for SpringwoodElmSt. Hopefully you liked it. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And I'll see you next time for another viewer request review. Later.